Let's now see how we would use Rguroo to find the expected winnings for the probability distribution that we just discussed. Notice I've started by creating a new data frame with two columns, each column labeled with, first of all, the random variable x, which represents the amount of money we win for each event, and then the probability of each of those events occurring. So unfortunately, in Rguroo, we cannot enter our values as fractions. So I need to find a way of calculating those as decimal values. Well, fortunately, I can go to Rguroo, the quick access tools, left click on scientific calculator, and I can find my values. I want them found to 4 decimal places. So I'm going to use the word round. And then the first fraction was 12 out of 52. And I move the cursor over, and then I want to round that to 4 decimal places. Notice I get the 4 decimal place value off on the right-hand side. I'm going to move my mouse over there, left click, and drag on that value to copy it. And then I use, on a PC, I use Control C. It might be a little different on a Macintosh. I then come back to the data frame, double click in the box to get that in there, and then I use Control V to paste the value from my scientific calculator into the probability for x equaling 1. And I'm going to do the same thing for the other 3 fractions, but I won't show that. I'll just go ahead and do that offline. All right, so I've gone ahead and pasted in all the decimal values corresponding to the probabilities that we had in our table that were written as fractions. I'm now going to go ahead and save this data set as prob, let me get that in there, prob underscore example. All right, so I've saved that data set. Now I want to go ahead and find the expected winnings as well as the variance and standard deviation. Well, fortunately, we know how to do that already. We're going to use summary statistics. It's basically the same as finding the mean and standard deviation when we had a data set that was given as a frequency table. So I select prob example. My numerical value, the discrete variable, is x. My frequency in this case, rather than being a frequency, I'm selecting these probabilities instead of frequencies. So now I'm going to go over to the right and select the statistics I want. So I uncheck everything except for the mean, the standard deviation, and the variance. And so now I go ahead and I take a look at those, and I'm going to make this a little bit larger so that you can see that. So reading the expected winnings, notice it's a 4 decimal place value, but we're rounding to the nearest penny. So that corresponds to approximately 81 cents. If I look at the standard deviation, I can round that to $1.85 as my standard deviation. And then the variance, which is a quantity we will talk about, is 3 and 4,216 10,000ths in this case. And that's how we would find the expected winnings, or another way of saying that is the expected value, and the standard deviation for our probability distribution.